Hey there, friend. I'm genuinely glad you've stopped by to watch this. And hey, if you subscribe, you'll make an already good day even better. Now let's get into it. The steady growl of the engine thrummed under Cole Shepard's fingers as he guided his jet-black SUV onto the highway. The late afternoon sun filtered through the windshield, smearing gold across the dashboard. He'd just escaped a grueling logistics meeting filled with clients who treated silence like a sin. All he wanted now was peace. Peace, however, wasn't interested. Buzz. No name. Just a numberless alert. A message lit up the screen. Want proof your wife's cheating? Thorny's Bar, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. There was a photo attached. Cole's knuckles went white on the steering wheel. The image wasn't graphic, but it hit like a gut punch. Madeline. His wife. Her body tilted far too close to a man with a smug expression and meticulously groomed stubble. Her manicured hand, one that joined his every night in prayer, rested casually on the stranger's thigh. She wore the red blouse she always claimed was for client meetings. The smile on her lips? Not the forced one she reserved for Cole these days. No, this one was soft, playful, intimate. This wasn't an old picture. It was today. He'd seen her leave that morning in that very coat. His heart didn't shatter. It hardened. He didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't even type a reply. Just turned the wheel toward Thorny's Bar, every emotion locked down under ice and calculation. He had once been blinded by love. That blindness was gone now. Thorny's was no stranger to secrets. It wore its age in peeling leather and flickering neon, a place designed to forget things rather than remember them. Cole arrived at 5:45 and chose a booth buried deep in shadows. At 6:03, she walked in. Madeline. A decade of shared life stepped through that doorway, lipstick bold and blouse tighter than necessary. She looked vibrant, energized, unburdened, free. Behind her strolled the man from the photo, tailored loafers, sleek watch, a smile made to be slapped. Cole didn't recognize the man. But Madeline's posture, her laugh, her whisper, everything about the way she moved around him screamed closeness. And then she kissed him, not a peck, a real kiss, public, proud, like their wedding vows were just bad suggestions. Cole felt a chill snake up his spine. He pressed record, captured everything, wide angles, close-ups, timestamps. His hands didn't shake. The Cole who loved her wasn't there anymore. What sat in that booth was methodical, cold, surgical. He left quietly, didn't go home. Instead, he went to Claire Belmont, his attorney. Claire didn't gasp, didn't flinch. She transferred the footage and said in a voice as sharp as steel, "This is the weapon. Let's wield it." But Cole wasn't just after revenge. He wanted clarity, truth. He wasn't simply ending a marriage. He was peeling back a betrayal. That night, he logged into her synced iCloud. Her passwords were still saved on his phone, a remnant of long-dead trust. He sifted through emails, calendar entries, voice memos, and then the man had a name, Blake Connor, a senior partner at Duval Strategy Group, Cole's most valuable client. In the past month, Madeline had joined Blake at 6 discreet, undocumented dinners. While Cole traveled coast to coast for deals, she entertained herself. And worse, she'd sent Blake confidential data, company files, intel she only had access to just helping. This wasn't just infidelity. She was selling secrets for seduction. Sleep didn't come. He hired a private investigator, set up a burner email, and then, the bold move, he called Blake's wife. Yes, Blake was married too, Sarah Connor. They'd met once at a gala, quiet elegance in heels. She answered on the second ring. Calm, too calm. "Send it," she said. He did. 2 minutes later. "Burn them." Monday dawned bright and crisp. Cole sat in the Duval boardroom at 8 a.m. sharp. Tailored suit, precise tie, unreadable expression. He wasn't here for deals. He was here for detonation. At 8:12, Blake entered. Confident stride, expensive cologne, except there was a crack in the performance, a tremble at the corner of his eye, a sleepless weight behind his smile. Sarah had texted Cole at midnight. "He's on his knees." The walls were buckling. Mid-meeting, Cole's manager flagged a discrepancy in internal data flows. An audit was underway. Heads turned toward Blake. Cole, calm as ever. He took a sip of his coffee, jotted a doodle in his notebook. By noon, Madeline messaged him. "Dinner tonight? I miss us." He nearly laughed. She still believed he was in the dark, that he was the same loyal husband, eyes shut to everything. She had no clue the man she once manipulated was now lighting matches beneath her world. He replied sweetly, "Of course. 7's perfect. I miss us too." Let her relax. Let her slip. At 3:16 p.m., another update from the PI. Same bar, same table, same kiss. But this time, audio included. She laughed, voice low. "He's so easy to trick. I'll ride this out until the prenup expires. I want that house." Cole paused the clip, saved the timestamp, sent it to Claire. Her response came within seconds. "We go now. Divorce initiated. Assets frozen in 24 hours. Still, Cole had one last scene to play. That evening, at their marble-countered kitchen table, Madeline played the part. Hair curled, makeup flawless, wine poured just right. "You're quiet," she said. He leaned in. "Just thinking," he said softly, "about how much better you've gotten at lying. You used to be terrible at it." Her hand stopped mid-reach. "What are you talking about?" Cole leaned back, savoring a sip of wine. "I mean, Blake's wife sent me the full audio. I know about the dinners, the documents, the manipulation. This is over, Madeline." Her face drained. "Wait, Cole?" But he stood, placed a folded bill on the table, and met her eyes with pure clarity. "You played the game. You forgot who taught you the rules." He left. She shouted after him, her voice breaking. He never looked back. The next 48 hours? A controlled collapse. Every shared account, frozen, streaming services, terminated, bank cards, declined. Madeline blew up his phone, called, texted, even tried using her mother's number. Only one message came through in return. "Check your email." Inside was a neatly compiled digital bomb. Formal divorce filings, grounds, infidelity, corporate espionage, exhibits, videos, recordings, screenshots, asset list. Every penny protected under the prenup she once joked was just a formality. And a final letter from Cole. "You asked for freedom. It's yours. You sought control. Now you'll witness mine. Once I loved you, but I won't trade self-worth for closure." By late afternoon the next day, Madeline was officially shut out of the home they had once shared. Her name had vanished from all joint accounts and assets. Cole hadn't even bothered to appear. From a quiet cafe across the street, he observed the scene, sipping slowly from a porcelain cup. Sitting beside him was Sarah Connor, unshaken and exacting, passing him a small USB drive. "This is the final blow," she said. "Want to deliver it yourself?" Cole gave the smallest of smiles. "No," he said. "That should be yours." So she did. Thursday night. Heart of Chicago. The quarterly gala hosted by the Duval Strategy Group was in full swing. An arena of ambition dressed in tuxedos and cocktail gowns. Investors floated between flutes of champagne and murmured deals. Executives showed their teeth in curated smiles. Blake Connor was in his element, gliding through the room like he owned the air in it. He had no inkling that the foundation beneath him was about to dissolve. Sarah entered the ballroom like a verdict. Her black satin dress clung to her like armor. Every step was intentional, every glance sharp. She hadn't come to make peace. She came to end a legacy. Trailing her by a few steps, Cole followed, not to intervene, but to witness. She approached Duval's CEO directly. No pleasantries. No hesitation. "You'll want to take a look at this," she said, pressing the USB into his hand. "Right now." Then she turned and walked away. She met Blake's stare from across the floor. Her eyes didn't flicker. She lifted her glass in a silent toast, not in honor, but in farewell to his reign. In under an hour, Blake Connor was escorted out by private security. No speech, no warning, none required. The board had seen what they needed. 3 separate camera feeds, taped conversations of covert arrangements, legally signed affidavits, clear violations of professional conduct, ethical standards, and fiduciary responsibility. By dawn, his access was revoked. By the following week, his identity was scrubbed from company systems, every bio, badge, and folder erased. Cole watched it unfold from his desk, his record spotless, his role invisible. He didn't gloat, he didn't smirk. He shut his laptop, leaned back, and exhaled. Revenge doesn't need to roar. It just needs to end things. Madeline's collapse wasn't a single disaster. It happened in tremors. She wept, yelled, sent a 3:27 a.m. message that simply read, "Please, say something." Cole never typed back. That week, 19 more emails came. He opened them. He didn't respond. She arrived at his office unannounced, makeup smeared, voice shaking. His assistant met her calmly at reception. "Mr. Shepard has requested all communications go through his attorney. Thank you." Madeline broke down in the lobby. Cole wasn't there to see it. A week later, his voicemail pinged. It was her. "I know I deserve this. You've won. I destroyed everything. Blake's gone. I'm sleeping on Danny's couch. I don't even know how to start over. I keep thinking about how you looked at me. Before you stopped looking at all." He saved the message, not from sentiment, but as a record. Sarah didn't just walk away. She transformed. She founded Shadowlight, a nonprofit built for women who'd been dismantled by men in power. Within months, she became a fixture on financial panels, her voice undeniable. On one podcast, she gave Cole credit. "He showed me that real strength doesn't have to shout," she said. They didn't keep in contact. But from time to time, Cole thought of her, not with regret, but with curiosity. The version of their lives that might have existed if peace had been what they were seeking. But Cole wasn't looking for peace, not then. He still had work to do. 3 months had passed since he set things in motion. He wasn't just standing. He'd walked away clean, but silence alone doesn't bring closure. Clarity does, and he finally had it. His mornings felt lighter. He rose before the sun, not from anxiety, but habit. Made his coffee, plain, black, without pretense. His phone stayed on the counter. Instead, he sat on his balcony, watching the darkness turn gold. No more voices hiding secrets, no sense that belonged to someone else. No laughter meant for another man. He ran again, not to escape, just to feel unchained. He cooked again, simple, purposeful meals, pan-seared salmon, caramelized sweet potatoes, whiskey steak on Fridays, meals Madeline had dismissed. A therapist once asked, "Do you miss her?" He paused. "No," he said. "I miss the version I believed in." The letters never stopped. Madeline kept sending them, some dripping with guilt, others sharp with blame, a few pleading. "You were cold. I didn't know how to accept love. Blake wasn't planned. It just happened. Please, let's start over. I've changed." He read each one, once, then locked them all in a folder called Ashes. He sent one final message. "Forgiveness doesn't mean access. I forgive you, but you'll never have entry again." She never wrote back. Blake wasn't finished, though. He tried to rebrand, created a shell firm, contacted old allies, tried to rise again. But in Chicago, scandal moves like smoke. It stains everything it touches. Sarah made sure the whispers never died. Every potential deal Blake approached collapsed at the last step. He knew who was behind it, and he hated Cole for it. Cole didn't respond. He didn't need to. Sometimes the quiet does more damage than a scream. Then came the final fracture. On a Thursday, Cole's investigator sent a file. Thought you'd want to hear this. It was a podcast episode. Blake, using a fake identity, boasting about manipulating a married woman for insider info. Arrogant, sloppy. It was all Claire needed. She filed a report straight to the National Licensing Commission. By Monday, Blake wasn't just unemployed, he was banned. Corporate finance was no longer an option, not silenced, stripped. That night, Cole stood in the mirror, shirt off, scars bare, still here, still strong. He wasn't grieving the man Madeline once said she outgrew. He was reclaiming the man she never recognized. This wasn't revenge anymore. It was rebirth. 8 months had passed. Not since betrayal, but since her last desperate voicemail. It began with, "I miss what we had," and ended in nothing. In those months, Cole did something most don't. He healed, not with grand gestures or dramatic goodbyes, but in the way that counts. There was no dramatic romance to speak of. No impulsive rebound, no glossy reinvention made for scrolling and likes. Instead, he opted for the long road, carefully assembling the pieces of himself like someone who understood that real recovery doesn't demand attention. It's deliberate, quiet. His days were full now, rooted in purpose. His professional life was flourishing. In the aftermath of the Blake fallout, clients found reassurance in his calm approach, admiring a leadership style that felt rare, measured, resilient. 3 fresh projects had come his way, thanks in part to Sarah's discreet support and a few well-timed introductions she facilitated behind the curtain. They never formalized a partnership, yet there was something that tied them together. An unspoken bond. On weekends, he gave his time to local ventures, small businesses led by women, driven by passion but often lacking resources. The nonprofit he had helped launch, Shadowlight, was gaining momentum, not with noise or flair, but with quiet confidence. Evenings had become peaceful again. The tension was gone. No more walking on eggshells, no more rehearsing his words to avoid emotional landmines. Now it was books on the nightstand. A glass of red wine, soft jazz murmuring from the speakers. The kind of serenity Madeline had never been able to give, not for lack of love, but because her soul needed the chaos to feel alive. Then, on a drizzly Tuesday afternoon, she returned. Cole had just left a client meeting when he saw her by the main doors. Rain had soaked her through. She looked worn down, not glamorous, her makeup smeared, her once luxury handbag dulled by time. Her expression was vacant, as if she'd been wandering through places devoid of kindness. "Cole," she said, her voice raspy, brittle, "I don't have anywhere else to go." He didn't speak. She moved a step closer, trying again. "I made a mistake. About everything. I miss you. I still—" "Don't," he interrupted gently, calm, like a man who had long left her storm behind. "I don't hate you," he said after a pause, "but I'm not here to pity you either. You made your choice. The deception, the games, the drama, and now you're left with what followed." Her voice wavered. "I was scared. I didn't believe I was enough for you. So I became someone worse." He met her eyes, unflinching. "No, you were capable of being loved, but you preferred the chase to the quiet that comes after." A stillness hung in the air, broken only by the soft percussion of rain hitting the sidewalk. He reached into his coat and pulled out an envelope. Inside was a check, just enough to help her start over. Not so much that it would burden him later. "This is the last thing I'll give you," he said. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve to move on without regret. Her hands shook as she accepted it, tears slipping down her face unchecked. Cole turned away and didn't look back. 12 months passed. Now Cole sat in a quiet cafe in Denver. The air smelled of fresh espresso, his hands warmed by the cup he held. Across the table was Leah. She didn't radiate unattainable perfection. She was real. Her laugh came easily. Her eyes held steady. When she asked what he did for a living, he felt no urge to impress. He simply smiled and said, "I help people navigate chaos." She tilted her head. "And then?" "I help them rebuild," he replied. "Stronger than before." Her smile widened. "So you fix things?" He shook his head, a quiet conviction behind the gesture. "No. I've just learned how not to fall apart again." Somewhere else, in a different city, Madeline was still searching. Searching for someone to blame, someone to rescue her, or for the version of herself she'd lost when everything crumbled. But Cole, he had found what she couldn't keep: clarity, peace, self-respect. He didn't win by lashing out or setting fire to the past. He won by leaving it with his wholeness intact, while others remained caught in the ashes. And that's where this story closes. If it stirred something in you, feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for reading. Until we meet again.